Hello everybody, it's Kim. I am making Thanksgiving dinner for a family of 6 to 8 for under $20, and I always start with my cranberry sauce first. I think it tastes far superior to the stuff you get out of the can, and the value is a little bit better. I take any cranberry sauce that I make that I'm not using for that dinner and I can it. So I'm going to show you that procedure today. The first step is always to wash. I use a little bit of vinegar in my water. Wash your cranberries very well. Cranberries should always float to the top. If there's anything that you see on the bottom, pick them out. Any berries, I'll show you a couple I did pick out. They were just unappetizing to me. I didn't get too many, so this is one I found. I just don't like it. It's a little bit squishy. They should be pretty firm. This one, it's just, I think they just somehow got it chopped up in the machine. Probably would be okay. This one, you can see it's very squishy. And these, one of these was a sinker, that one. And this one's squishy, and this one's just, it just looks funny. So pick those type out. Take your time doing this, and your cranberries will come really be good in that sense. So I'm going to finish transferring these over. I drained them in my colander. That's where I'm throwing them to the side. I'm going to rinse this pan out because there is some, dirt and stuff. Oh, I found another squishy one. See how they, oh, well, they shouldn't do that. But that's why, it's, take your time and go through them. It wouldn't poison you or anything, but, you might as well use, you're spending all this time. Honestly, it's one of the easiest processes in the world. And I think it's far superior to the stuff in the can. So I'm going to dump this pan out here, and I'm going to put my berries back in here, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I have my cranberries back in my pan. This is a double batch, so I'm going to use double of everything. If you have one bag, you need 1 cup of water and 1 cup of sugar. I'm adding, obviously, 2 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. Now, this is a basic cranberry. I'm not adding walnuts and orange, and our family just likes it plain. I have very successfully substituted Splenda or other sugar substitutes. When my husband was still alive, he was, after his transplant, he was very diabetic, and he loved cranberries. He could eat cranberries almost every night of the week. So I would just substitute the Splenda. At the time, that's what we had, Splenda, and cook them the same. I could take them to family parties. Nobody even recognized that they were any different than I'm doing right now. So this is the process. It's so easy, it's crazy. You're just literally going to bring these up to a boil, get the sugar to melt, and then you're going to cook them until most of the cranberries, I hope I didn't say raspberries earlier, cranberries pop and it starts to thicken up. All right, you can see my berries are starting to boil really well. They have a couple of them have popped. But I forgot to tell you, make sure you have a pan that's big enough. It's very much like making regular jelly. You just make it with cranberries, and you don't use pectin because they have enough of their own natural. If you're going to be canning your cranberries, you want to get they have to be water bath canned. I have my canner set up. The jars are warming up, and the water, obviously, because I put my jars in the water I'm going to be boiling them in. You can see my berries are really going. If your pan is a little small or you don't like the foam, my family actually likes the foam, you can put a teaspoon or 2 of butter in there. It helps get rid of some of that foam. This is the point, because they're boiling so hard, I like to make sure I stir them a little more often, because I certainly don't want them to burn to the bottom. And you can see I still have some whole ones in there. I have some that are broken down, so I'm going to continue this process until they are completely kind of mushy, if you want to call it that. Hopefully you can tell. Remember how it was boiling up really crazy? I didn't do anything different. All that butter did was take the foam down a little bit, but I can feel the difference when it starts to thicken up, and it settles down more. Now it's putting its energy into boiling out the excess water and thickening up the sugar so that you have your cranberries ready to go. And because I can feel the difference, I can see that the juice is kind of coming in sheets off of my spoon here. Sorry about the spoon. My dog decided to chew it up. It fell on the floor. But it's clean. You know, it's been through the dishwasher a couple times. And now I just have to get my jars. Now my jars are in the canner, remember. The canner is warming up. The jars are warming up. You definitely do not want to put hot berries like this into cold jars. So I'm going to turn my heat off, and I'm going to get few of my jars out, and I'm just going to start jarring them up. All right, my berries are ready to go in the jars, and I forgot to turn the camera on. Sorry, guys. I got the first batch in there. Anyway, I have the hot jars. I just took them out of my canner, and I'm going to put my hot, warm berries in here. I need it to about 1/4 of an inch headspace, which it's difficult to do on these tiny jars with just the ladle. So usually I come back with a spoon and top them off. So I probably forgot to tell you, if you want to can, especially these small jars or the half-pint jars, you don't have to have a special canner. You just need a pot of some kind, and this, honestly, this one would be tall enough. You need a pot tall enough to put these little short jars in there and process with about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of water over the top of them. So, you know, don't think that, you know, you have to go out and buy anything special for this. The rest of that I'm going to leave for our dinner. But once I get the headspace in here, I set my spoon somewhere. Where'd I put my spoon? Because I use a spoon to top it up. Oh, there it is. I use a spoon to top these up because I could see the headspace. When you're going to 1/4 inch, it's just easier to, for me anyway, to be able to see what I'm doing. And I just put it by the spoonful because you're going to debubble these. You're going to wipe your lids off anyway, right? And make sure that, oh, probably should have kept another one out for dinner, but I think I might just can up the last of it, and I can open 1 or 2 jars when we eat it. So let's see here. All right, I'll finish that later. But now you just take something, a tool, you can debubble it, make sure you don't have any big bubbles in there. That's going to want to blob up and push your, this one's a little full, so I might take just a tiny bit out of that one. And I can use this end to do that. I just don't do it normally. That one looks like it could use just a tiny bit more. So there you go. Now it's the same process that you always do. Some people use vinegar. Some people are now saying that it's causing problem with the new lids. Honestly, I've never had a problem, but you can use water if you want. And just, if it's greasy, this obviously isn't greasy, then I would 100% use vinegar, but, you know, do what you want. So remember, I have my lids and my rings were already pre-washed. I'm wiping my rims off. Sorry to get in your way. I'm going to put my lids on and put them in with the other jars into my canner. Once I get them to a full boil, make sure the water's over the top by 1 to 2 inches. Then I will process them for a full 15 minutes. Then you remove the lid, you know, wait 5 before you take them out. If you've watched any of my other canning videos, so water bath canning, I should say. So finger tight, I crank it, and then I back it off just a hair. It just works better for me. And you have to figure out what works best for you. I like to do it just, see, I went too far. I can adjust it that way. But I'm going to get these in the canner, and once we're ready to pull them out, we'll come back. All right, I just removed these little lovelies out of the canner, and I have 11 of these 1/4 pints plus some for dinner in another bowl. I probably could have easily got another 1/4 pint out of that, probably a little more than that. But I am also making some soup, so I'm going to run and take care of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know below, and have a wonderful day.